So last year I competed at nationals in March 2023. That's when I competed. I went with my coach and my teammates to Puerto Rico, and it was really exciting. I was like, oh my god, like, first of all, I haven't been to Puerto Rico since I was like in fifth grade. So I was like, oh my god, I get to go to Puerto Rico for free, and I get to compete. So I get to wrestle at Puerto Rico, and my grandfather was planning to come and watch me as well because he lives in Puerto Rico, and it was just like so exciting. And so I had all these different things in my head. And I remember like everyone was telling me, like my coach and my teammates were like, Faith, like you're gonna come out of this a national champ. Like you're gonna win first place. Like there's no way you're gonna get anything otherwise. Like there's no other outcome, right? So I had this whole idea, and I thought for myself too. I was like, oh, I'm pretty good. I'm pretty solid at wrestling. So I feel very confident in my ability to get the outcome I wanted, which was first place. And I worked the whole summer on just strength training and conditioning, and then I worked the whole year on actually practicing my technique and perfecting it. So I was like, I'm doing all this work outside of the mat, so I'm expecting to get the results of that, right? So through this experience, I actually learned that how much your expectations could actually hurt you, hurt your success, or hurt your growth. So I'm gonna get back to that, but first I want to explain one of the stories, the specific part of my experience in Puerto Rico. So when I was wrestling, I actually lost my second match, which was against the first seed. If you don't know wrestling, the first seed is the person who has like the best record out of everyone. They're the person. There's like a ranking of everyone, and they pair you up based on the ranking, to kind of like process of elimination. They'll put like a first ranked person with like one of the least ranked people because they want to kind of eliminate people quicker to end the tournament quicker. And now we're going to be going all day. So I was wrestling the first ranked person, the first seed person, and I lost. And I was so embarrassed. I was like, what the heck? And I didn't even lose by close points or anything. Like I lost like badly. So I was like, as soon as I got off that mat, I went straight to the bathroom and started crying. And I was like, and I know like my coach was trying to like comfort me, and like my captain like came like running after me like to kind of also like comfort me, but I was in the women's bathroom and he couldn't really go in there, so he couldn't follow me there. So he kind of just stood outside the door, and I'm here crying in the stall, and I was like, oh my god, I don't want to wrestle anymore. I just want this to end. I want to go home. I want to cry. I I just felt like such a loser. Like I know I lost, but like you don't understand, like when you put so much effort into something and you don't get the results, you're like, dang, like I put all this effort into this one thing and it still wasn't enough, you know? And that sucks. That sucks so much. I was just crying. I'm like, what the heck? Like I came to Puerto Rico with this mentality that it was either first place or nothing. And since I didn't get first place, clearly because I lost, once I lost that match, I was already out for first place. Like first place wasn't an option for me anymore. I was like, I don't want to wrestle anymore. And I remember coming out of the bathroom, my captain was talking to me, and I just kept walking away from him. Like I didn't want to hear anyone. Everyone was trying to talk to me, like it's okay, Faith, like don't worry, like you know, whatever. Like she was really good. I don't want to hear that. Like okay, and I'm really good too. And like it didn't make me feel better. And I know obviously like they were trying their best, but it didn't help. So yeah, I ended up going back to my room, and then I went for a walk, and I just started crying. I was sitting by this water that we had by the hotel. There was like this little pond thing, and I was just sitting by the water and I was crying. And I remember calling my little brother um, that night, and I was like, I don't want to wrestle anymore. Like I felt like such a disappointment, not only to myself but to the people who supported me. Like I felt like I disappointed my high school coach who was watching me online. Um, my other coach who like um trained me all season, and then like my actual coach who was there with me, like I felt like I disappointed him. I'm like, dang, like you literally came after school, you paid for like some things, you offered to pay for some things for me to be able to compete, and I'm like, I I wrestled like garbage, you know, like if it came close, like if I had a match that was really close in score and I wrestled really well, I would have been like, okay, I'm okay with losing. But I wrestled like garbage. Like I didn't even wrestle well at all. So I was like, I felt even more like disappointed in myself. And that, I think that was the biggest thing for me. Like I just didn't want to disappoint my coach, and I felt like I did by losing, because he just had this expectation that I was going to be first place. We all had this expectation, not just him, but and I knew that was what he hoped the outcome was gonna be. So because I didn't live up to that, I just didn't want to wrestle anymore. I was like, I failed already, like I lost. So even though I still had matches after that match, I didn't want to wrestle them because I felt like it was pointless. I'm like, why do I want to wrestle anymore? I don't care about second place. Well, I don't care about third place, fourth place, fifth place, whatever. Like I either got first place, I wanted first place, or nothing. So I'm like, there's no point in continuing to wrestle. And then I remember I came back to my room, and then I was in my room by myself because I was in a team of guys. So I was the only girl. I shared a room with no one. I had my own room, so I was just crying by myself. And I remember like around like 11 o'clock, I was like just watching TV, trying to make myself feel better, listening to sad songs, crying still. And my coach sent me this video from Instagram, and it was like, I remember that it was this one guy. It was like a little, like it was supposed to be like a comedic thing, like a funny thing. It was this one guy. He was portraying someone who had just lost the final match. So like at finals, who lost at finals and placed second, and then they were really sad because they placed second. They lost their last match, and then in the next video, it showed the person who won their third place match and placed third place, and they're like, yeah. And then the person who won second was so sad, even though they placed second, and the third place person was so happy, even though they placed third. And like that just really like kind of made me, that made me feel so much better, because I'm like, that's right. Like tomorrow when I wrestle again, like my last match is not gonna be a losing match. Like I'm gonna win. I'm gonna get that third place, even though it's not first place or second place. At least my last match is not gonna be a losing match. So like that second place person was sad because their last match was a losing match. Like they lost, while the third place person won their last match. So it was a winning match. And so you get to leave with that adrenaline and that excitement of winning, even though they came third place versus second place, which the second place should be, I guess, happier because they ranked higher, but now you just have that in your head that you just lost, you know, like, so you can't really be happy. You're like, oh yeah, I got second place, but it's like, but I lost, you know, like my last match, that's the last thing that stuck in my head. So that's the one I'm gonna remember the most. And I was like, you know what, you're right. Like thinking to myself about the video that my coach sent, like he's right. Like, and tomorrow, like that day, the last day was the day that my grandfather was gonna come to see me wrestle. So I'm like, I have to win. I have to. I was like, I couldn't get first place, but at least I could get third place. So I ended up wrestling. And I remember also when I was really sad that like my coach was like, it's like, he's like, Faith, like think about it, like you're gonna have kids, and you could tell them that you wrestled at nationals in Puerto Rico. Like that's so exciting. And then I was like bitter. I was like, I don't know. I was so bitter at that time. I was really upset still, and I was like, yeah. And I'll also tell them how I got pinned at nationals and I lost. And then he's like, come on. And I'm like, I just like rolled my eyes and looked away. I was like so mad, but he had like good intentions. It just wasn't working. Like I was just really upset, and no matter what anyone told me at that time, like I was gonna feel sad. But I do appreciate the effort, like the attempts to make me feel better from everyone who did. And then like I just remember like wrestling that match, and at the end, oh my god, like I was like, oh my god, I won. I don't care what place I placed, I won, but I did get third place. I was like, oh my god, I won. I got to hug my coach, and like We planned. It was so funny because he was, like I said, he was texting me like 11 o'clock at night, sending me that meme or that video, and he's like, oh, Faith, when you win, you have to throw me, it's a tradition. And I'm like, okay, like I'll throw you, whatever. So then when I actually won that match, I threw him, I got to throw him, and then we're like, everyone was cheering, and then like my teammates got a recording of it, so now I have it as memories. And it was just so exciting. And then I remember he got like emotional. He's like, you did it, you're on a mission and you did it, Faith. And I got emotional, like watching him get emotional. And like, I guess if you're not an athlete, like you won't really understand why I'm getting emotional now. But like, I finally felt like I wasn't a disappointment to him at that moment, because he was so happy for me. And I guess like before that, I was like, no matter what, like I'm gonna be a disappointment to the people like who supported me and who I care about their approval. So at that moment, seeing him like oh my god, this shirt. Seeing him get really excited about my win actually made the experience so much better, and made it feel real. Like I'm like, okay, like I gave myself permission to be happy for me, because I saw that he was happy. And then my other coaches text me and like was like, oh my god, Faith, congrats. So I felt like no one understood that I was like going through this period of like just like feeling super sad, because I felt like a disappointment. But after that, like I just needed his I just really needed him to know that like I wanted to make him proud of me, and seeing that he was proud of me gave me the permission I needed to be proud of myself. And I know that's not really great, but that's how it was. And I think a lot of athletes can relate to that. Like, you want to make your coach proud. So if you see them proud, you feel like you could be proud. But if you see them upset, you get even more upset, because like, dang, like I didn't just disappoint myself. Like, I disappointed the one person who like supported me through this whole journey. So I feel like at that moment I was able to actually like be happy for myself that I placed in nationals. I was able to wrestle at nationals, and it was just great. Like, I was so happy. And he was amazing, because like I said, I was really upset. I remember he woke up early. He went on a walk with me, because I told him I was gonna go on a walk. He went on a walk with me and just talked about random things, and he's just so very crazy and energetic that like his energy kind of like went onto me, and I felt a little bit better that morning before I had to wrestle again. And he ate dinner with me the night before, because again I was really upset. He made sure I ate, because I was like, I don't want to eat, I'm not hungry. He's like, you have to eat, Faith. So, and like he also like offered to like work out with me if I was overweight, stuff like that. And he was just so great and like so supportive, and like I can't give enough like gratitude for him to him, because like he was just amazing. And like anyone who does coach or is planning on coaching, like I think that's the things I appreciate the most, the little things that my coach did for me. And I think a lot of athletes appreciate those things that you kind of overlook. You're like, oh, they're sad, let them be sad. And it's okay to be sad, but you know, even just sitting by me and kind of giving me some form of, I guess, company, like, is helpful. And again, you remember that when you're competing, and when you think back to your relationship with your coach, like you think about those moments and like, wow, this coach was really amazing. Even though I didn't want them to sit next to me, they sat next to me and we didn't talk, but just knowing that they were there next to me, and if I wanted to talk, we can, like, really meant a lot to me, you know. And like I said, the little things matter, at least for me. And so I guess the overall lesson I learned from this experience was that my expectations coming in to the tournament actually almost like hindered my ability to feel happy for myself, for my success. And because I was like, it's either first place or nothing. So if I did get first place, I didn't want to wrestle anymore. If I didn't wrestle anymore, then I wouldn't have even placed at all, right? If I just quit. Or if I kept the mentality first place or nothing, then I would have placed at third place, and then like I wouldn't have even felt like I deserved it. I would have just had this same mentality that like no matter what I did, no matter where I placed, it just wasn't enough. So I really realized through that experience and reflecting on it now how expectations could kind of really actually hurt your growth and success. Like, if something doesn't live up to your expectations, that's okay, right? We just learn and then we use that and apply those new skills that we developed or the new knowledge that we developed through that lesson to get better. So the next time we do better. But if we just give up, we're always going to be a loser, right? Like, I mean, not to say that you're a loser now, but if you lost, you're a loser. And then this is the definition of a loser. And yeah, you're just always gonna be you're just never gonna have achieved success the way you could have had you continued and learned from those mistakes or those experiences. So I think this could also be applied to different aspects of life, where if I remember when I was in this relationship with this one person, I had this expectation of how I wanted to play out. I was like, okay, like we're gonna do this and do this and this and this, and nothing happened the way it was supposed to happen. And I think a lot of the time that's the thing that stands in the way of our happiness is what it's supposed to be, how it's supposed to look like, how the event was supposed to happen, and then we just dwell on the fact that it didn't happen the way it was supposed to happen, and then we can never be happy for ourselves or never find things that did go well because we're too busy dwelling on what didn't go well. So I think it's worth noting and realizing that our success could look different, and our expectations are great because you come into something kind of expecting something, but also realizing that just because we didn't live up exactly to what our expectations were doesn't mean that we're a failure, doesn't mean that we'll never get better, that we'll always be a failure. Like, we could fail and then succeed afterwards once we learn and obtain those skills and knowledge and different sources and resources and things like that. We could use that to succeed next time. So I thought that was something that I really wanted to bring up and discuss, because it's something that I actually still use today. And I said it, like, it could apply to different aspects of your life, relationships, careers, sports, whatever it is. I think this lesson could apply to anything. Just that like, don't be upset when your expectations, you don't live up, life doesn't live up to your expectations, because at the end of the day, you can always grow. Like, give yourself the permission to grow and be happy for yourself on the little things you succeed, right? Just because we haven't achieved that big goal yet, we could appreciate and pat ourselves on the back for those little things that we achieved throughout that pursuit of that goal, that bigger goal, and then continue to pursue that bigger goal until we reach it, once we kind of fill in the gaps that we need to get to that next level. But yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to discuss today. Thank you for watching. If you got any value from this video, please hit the like button. Comment if you have a similar story or you felt like you could relate to either the athletic portion of this or just in life, how like your expectations kind of kept you in the same place, prevented you from growing or being successful or whatever it is. I'd love to hear from all of you, and thank you so much for your time, and hope to see you in my next video. Bye.